Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time checking out my channel, please do consider subscribing, because on this channel I'll teach you how to do simple DIY fashion right there in the comfort of your homes, and you do not want to miss out on any of it. Today I'll be showing you how to make this dress that I'm showing you on the screen. Now, so the first thing you'll have to do is that you'll have to determine how much fabric you're going to need. Now, this dress, if you look at it, you'll see that it is a type of kimono dress that has a little flare at the sleeve area. So in order to find out how much fabric you need, you will have to check how much you want the sleeve to be. What I want you to do, from the nape of your neck, you're going to take your tape measure, and from the nape of your neck, where you see that bone in the center of your neck, the back of your neck, you're going to take that measurement to where you want the sleeve to stop. So in this case, it would be from here until where you want it to stop. In my case, I want mine to be about 17 inches. So that is what you will need. However, there's something important that I want to point out. So for instance, you're taking the measurement from the nape of your neck to the end of the sleeve. In my case, that's 18 inches. But if you notice the design, you'll see that there's a flare at the end of it. So what you're going to do, you're going to subtract the length of the flare that you want from where you want the main part of the sleeve to stop. So in this case, that is 14 inches. So if that measurement is wider, is bigger than your hip, then that is what you're going to use. But if it is smaller and your hip is bigger, or your midsection is bigger, you're going to fold based on that measurement. So my hip is actually 44 inches. If I divide 44 by 4, I'm going to get 11 inches. Plus I'm going to add an extra 1 inch for seam allowance, plus 1 inch for side seam allowance. So that's 13 inches. But then this kimono sleeve is going to be 14 inches. So I'm going to fold 14 inches. So if I should check here, you'll see that I have up to 15 inches, which is going to be okay. So the first thing you'll have to do is you're going to start with your shoulder line. I hope you could be able to see my chalk very well. Okay, so from your shoulder line, you're going to impute your waistline. Mine is going to be about 17 inches, and I'm going to make that into a straight line. Also, I'm going to impute my hip measurement. Mine is about 24 inches, and I'm going to make it 24.25 inch. I'm going to rule that into a straight line. Then the end of this will be the length of the dress that I want, plus 2 inches seam allowance. So this would be my hemming allowance right here. So this here is my hemming allowance. Okay. So what I want you to do, before we talk about the kimono aspect, I want you to go to your waist measurement, and you're gonna, because this is gonna be a free top, it's not gonna have a zipper in the back. And I should have told you that when you're folding, you should fold 4. So this is folded in 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go to your waist measurement. So at your waist, you're going to put 1/4 of your waist measurement. My waist is actually 34 inches. but I'm gonna make it because I want it to be free. I'm going to make it 35 inches, which is 8.75. Okay, so that's my actual measurement, but because I want this to be free, I'm gonna add an extra 1 inch allowance, and then I'm gonna add another 1 inch for my seam allowance. And I'm gonna say that again. A quarter of my waist is 8.75. I added 1 more inch, which is 9.75, which is what I have here. And then I added 1 more inch here, which is 10.75 for the side seam allowance. Now I'm gonna go to my hip. My hip is 44. A quarter of 44 is 11, and I'm going to add 1 more inch for ease, plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this measurement all the way to the end of my pattern here, which is 13 inches. And I'm going to connect these lines right here. So all these lines, I'm going to connect them. So all these lines here, I'm going to connect them. So this is 1 inch. Okay. So now let's talk about the kimono aspect of this dress. So I want you to go back to the top half of this dress. So what you're going to do, you're going to determine your slope of the sleeve, because it's a built-in sleeve. So you're going to put 3 inches and 8 inches just to determine the slope, right? And then what you're going to do at this point, go down about that 1.5 inches, or you could go down 2 inches if you like, and you're going to connect this line right here, the 3 inch mark, to that 1.5 inch point there. Okay, so this is what you're going to have. So let's talk about the neckline for this dress. So because there's not going to be a zipper in this dress, you want it to be as wide as possible so as not to have any complications when you're trying to put it on. So I'm going to make my neck width 5 inches. So this is 3, and this is going to be 2 more inches, which is 5 inches. And for the back, I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches. And if you notice on the dress, it's the back and the front, they're different. So I'm going to connect these. This is for the back. And the front, it came down, it wasn't so deep. So they came down about 3 inches. But then it had a slit. So what you're going to do at this point, you're going to connect with a curve for that 3 inch point. And then you're going to make a slit. Okay, so this is my curve, and then the slit is slightly wide, so I'm gonna go out about 3/4 inch, and then I'm gonna go down. I don't want it too deep, about 2 more or 2.5 more inches. So it is slightly open. So I'm gonna connect this point to this point, and that will take care of the front of this dress. I hope you could see the chalk carefully. Now let's talk about the kimono part of it. So we said that we wanted our sleeve to be 14 inches, which is right here, and I'm gonna make it 14 and a half because of the, so it's right at the edge here, because of the you're gonna attach the ruffles to it. So what I want you to do now, from this point right here, so this is 3, and this is 14 and a half. So you measure along your slope. So from this point, you're going to put half of your round sleeve. So in this case, the part where the 14 stops, you're going to take the measurement there. In my case, it's 14 inches. So half of 14 inches is going to be 7 inches. Okay? Then you're going to add half an inch to sew it together. That's 7 and a half. Plus, because I don't want this sleeve to be very tight, I'm going to add another 1 inch to that. And then I'm going to add another 1 inch to this point for joining seam allowance. And then I'm going to make this here, this point here, into a straight line. So from the top of this measurement to here, it's 11 inches. Okay? Right there, 11 inches. You don't have to make yours so wide. You can make it 10 inches if you like. But I did 11 inches because this is a kimono top. You don't want it too tight at that area. So what you're going to do, you're going to impute your bust measurement at this point. So my bust is 42 inches, which is 10.5, and I'm gonna make it 11 inches. Okay, I don't want that area to be too tight also, so I'm gonna make it 11 and a quarter inch. Okay, plus 1 inch for side seam allowance. Okay, so that here would be your bust measurement. But what I want you to do, I want you to, so this would come straight all the way down. This 14 inches would come all the way down right here. But you don't want it that way. Yes, you don't want it that way, so I want you to go in. I want you to go in about 1.5 inches from this point, and then you're going to connect this point to that 1.5 inch point. Now what you're going to do, you're going to connect this point here. This is your bust measurement, so you're going to connect this point right here. So at this point, if you don't want to come in so much, you could also come in 1 inch. You could also come in 1 inch or 1.5. Let me make it 1 inch. I'll come in 1 inch from this point since it's a shorter sleeve. If it was a longer sleeve, you could come in up to 1.5 inches. But this sleeve is very short. Okay, so ignore this one here. So this is the one we're working with. So now what you're going to do, you're going to connect this point, your bust point, to the waistline. You're going to come down 2 inches from this point, which is here. And then diagonally, you're going from this point here, you're going to go in 1 inch. And then you're going to make a slight curve from this point to this point. You could use your free hand if you like. Alright, so you could use your curved area to blend this up right here. Like this. And that's it. Your kimono is formed. This is what you're going to have. So what you're going to do, you're going to cut this out remember to cut the back first. Okay, Sewmates, so this is what you're gonna have when you cut it out. But what you needed to do is make a note of this measurement here. Remember, 1/2 inch is gonna be used to sew it right here, and then 1 inch is going to be used to turn this. So deduct 1.5 inches from here, because we're gonna use that measurement to get the flare for the rest of the sleeve. So I'm gonna remove this. This would be my back. And then I'm gonna cut out my front. So this would be the front part of the dress. So what I want you to do now is you're going to get another piece of fabric and you're going to cut your lining. Let me show you how you do that. What you're going to do, you're going to take another piece of fabric and you're going to put it underneath. This is the front, like this. Then you're just going to cut out the facing for the front part, and you're going to do the same thing for the back. Then you're going to put interfacing on this. So all of this is going to be for your facing. So this is the facing for the front. And then you're going to do the same thing for the back. Okay guys, so this is the back and this is the front. So let's talk about the rest of the sleeve. So remember I said that 1/2 inch is going to be off to join it, because we allotted that. And then from this point 1 inch will be off. So it means then from this point to this point is going to be about 8 inches. So it means then for the back and the front, it's going to be 2 times 8, which is 16 inches. That's going to be the circumference of what is left. Okay, Sewmates, so let's talk about the rest of the sleeve. So we said that the total amount of sleeve that we need from the nape of our neck to the ruffled part would be 18 inches, right? So it means then that from the nape to the opening was 14, and that's what we drafted on the main part of the fabric. So it means then that the ruffles is gonna be 4 inches long. So if you look at the picture, you see that there are 2 ruffles. One is slightly taller than the other. You could do it like that, or you could do it anyway. Let me also say that there are many different ways to get that ruffle. You could do the circle method. You could do the half circle method. You could do the half circle method, and also you could do the slash and spread method. Either methods work very well, but I'm gonna work with the circle method today. So for the sleeve opening, remember we said that the sleeve opening, if I should take the main bodice that we just did, the sleeve opening, the entire thing was actually from here to there is actually 9.5 inches. Okay, but then we're going to use 1/2 inch here at this point to sew the shoulders, and also you're going to need 1 inch at this point when you are going to do the curving for this part. So what you're going to do is that you're going to minus 1.5 inches, which is what I did here. I minus 1.5 inches, which is 8 inches. So 8 inches is from here to that point. But then this is just for half of the sleeve. So you have to add 8 plus 8, 2, which is 16 inches. And then if you want it full, you're going to divide it by 6.28. If you want it not so much full, you divide by 3.14. I hope you understand that. So I got 2.9. And because I'm going to join it to the sleeve where there's 1/2 inch seam allowance, I actually deducted, I actually deducted 1/2 inch, about 1/2 inch from the point. So I'm gonna cut 2.75 for my radius. So it means then that for the entire thing, how much unfold I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna make 2, one shorter than the other. For the folds that I'm gonna need, I'm going to add that 4 inches plus the 2.75, and then I'm going to cut it off. So that's what I'm going to do now. So this is my radius. So this is my first sleeve, second sleeve. This is the shorter ones, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm going to make, so this would be about 7 inches. I'm gonna make it just 7 inches. So from the tip now, okay, so now from the tip, I'm going to take my, just say 7 inches long. Let me just make it 8 inches. Make it a bit longer. Okay, you could do whatever you want. 8 inches all the way around. So this here is 8 inches all the way around. And then I'm gonna take my radius, which is 2.75, which is here. So that's my radius, 2.75. So this would be the first ruffle. And then I'm just gonna take the same radius on this one, 2.75. So this is for the short one. You take it from the tip now. So this here is 5.5. I'm gonna make this 4. Okay, 4 inches. So I'm gonna cut this off. So this is for the short one also. I'm gonna cut this on another piece of paper. So I'm gonna cut this off for you to see. Okay, Sewmates, so I've made a detailed video on how to draft a kimono dress where I showed you how to sew it. So I'm gonna put a link in the description box where you could find it. But just to give you an idea of how this dress will turn out, so this would be my kimono. This is just folded in half, and this part would be where the ruffles are gonna be. So I just pinned it on for you to see an idea how it's gonna look. Can you see how beautiful it is? So if you find this video helpful, do not forget to give me a giant thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you'll be notified each time I make a video. Until we meet again, I will see you in my next one. Bye!